Hey guys, so back for another writing sprint. It's been a look very, very long week. One of those weeks where you're like so glad that it goes by really fast, but then you get to the end of the week and you're thinking, man, I worked a lot. I was in meetings yesterday for the company that I'm running with my business partner from like, I don't know, 11 in the morning. And then we had an event till 9. And then this morning I had a 9 a.m. meeting and that went till about 1 in the afternoon. So I am a tired little puppy. That's why there hasn't been any shorts this week. I just have not even had the time or the space to record those funny little ones that I've been doing and put them up there. I wanted to, I had some ideas. I jotted the ideas down, but I did not record anything because I was just too busy. And I actually forgot to like put this live stream up there so that I could remind you guys that it was actually happening. I did remember it, did not remember to fix the timer thing. I still don't even know what I'm doing wrong there. So, yeah, it's like 50% together. Um, but I am glad to be working on my book today. I haven't been working on it much this week. I did a little bit earlier in the week and then got busy. I have one really big project that my company is doing where we're doing like a book that has 25 different chapters written by different people. So now it's crunch time. The book is going to formatting. We're doing all these last minute tweaks to everybody's chapters, making sure everybody has their headshot in there, and of course, there's always those few stragglers that didn't send their headshot in. So, making sure everything is there and ready to go has been my all-consuming task for the week when I am here working. So it's been a very busy week. I'm really glad it's over. I'm looking forward to just spending some time working in my garden this weekend. Let me know in the comments like what you guys are thinking about doing this weekend. Are you guys gardeners? Or do you have a pool? We are putting in a pool. It's taken a really long time. It's not a fast process. I thought it would be like a lot faster than it is. They've been working on it since January, I think. Um, should be done, they say, with fingers crossed, in a couple weeks before the 4th. We'll see. Um, it's a very expensive proposition too, but I live in Florida and my heat index this week has been 105. So it's been insanely hot here. And I don't know how people get by without something to like get in and cool off. Otherwise, you're stuck in the house all day long with the air on. But we are putting in solar so that we have a number one power source for if there's a hurricane because we lost power for a week during both of the last two hurricane seasons. And we thought about a generator, but if you guys follow me, you know that I'm big into butterflies and bees and native plants and stuff. So I didn't want to put in a generator and use up all that gas and fossil fuels and all of that. So we went solar instead, which is just the same price as putting in a whole house generator, but it gives back to the environment and it saves us electricity. So that will save us a lot in the long run on the pool and the other costs that we're going to have, but it is expensive to do. Everything is just crazy expensive. So we shall see how it goes. I know half a mo. I'm exhausted too. I'm just so tired. You guys probably tell. Like I can't even wear my contacts today because my eyes were so tired this morning when I got up. I said, forget that. And yes, hello, Silver Alley and Heather. Happy to see you guys. Yeah, it's been so hot lately. I don't know. It's hard, and it's only June. It's really kind of scary. I don't even want to know what August and September will be like here. First day of summer officially because it was the solstice. So the sad part about that, in case you guys didn't know, is that we lose 2 minutes of daylight on either end, like a couple minutes on either end of the day, as it goes to daylight savings time in November and stuff. So, anyways, that's the sad part. But we'll get through to the winter eventually and it will be cool again. Mid 90s and humid. Yeah, it's really humid here. Like I'm sweating in my office and we have the air on in the house and it does get pretty hot in here in general because the sun moves across our house like this way. And there used to be a big tree right here, right next to my window. And we had to take it down because it was rotted. And so all the shade that I normally have has been gone this year. So by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, it is so hot in my office. And then you got to think that I got the ring lights on. So I'm just sitting here baking. Oh, and in case you guys wondered about the shirt, I am stronger than I thought. This is a shirt that I got from Badass Mother Runner. It's a brand was started by two friends who are runners and had read their books and they were just really encouraging. And I had met them in person and I saw them at a trade show. And I wore this to sign up for my very first half marathon. because I was terrified. I thought that I was going to suck at it. I was going to be terrible. I was going to die in the heat because it was in St. Petersburg, Florida. I wasn't like, a Boston Marathon fast finisher. I was like 2 hours and 30 minutes, I think, on my first half marathon. It was when I was in my 40s, so it was a long time ago. But I was stronger than I thought. I did better than I thought I could do. So this week we're gonna do about 45 minutes because we have a double date tonight, my husband and I, with another couple. So pretty excited. I get to put on a sundress and go out. Um, Walter, 97. Yeah, Florida storms cool things off. Like putting water on the hot stones cools us on. Exactly. I remember living up north. I grew up in Massachusetts and I lived in Indiana for about 14 years. And you'd get a summer storm, and then you would have this beautiful respite where it was nice and cool because the storm had cooled everything off. In Florida, the storm stops and it's just even worse. It's like more humid and worse, if you can believe it. Once in a while, the storm makes it cooler, but most of the time it does not. But we get them every single day, and they're like really torrential downpours. We had a guy working in our yard the other day, had a lightning bolt that hit so close to the house, like it shook the house, and the guy jumped off our deck into the yard because it scared him. Yeah, those storms can get kind of crazy here. Anyway, let's do a 15-minute sprint. And no, I've not fixed my timer. I know. I really need to figure that out. One of these days, I got to remember it ahead of time instead of after I start. And I've got a catch for you guys today about kind of thinking about your character's origin story. One of the things that I'm doing with the company that my business partner and I are doing is we're doing origin story videos of the company and of individuals that are building platforms or whatever. And you got to capture all that in like 3 minutes, like where you came from, why you do what you do, and all of that. And I thought it'd be really cool to give you guys a prompt to do 10 or 15 minutes, kind of figuring out where your character came from, why they do what they do, and how that impacts them. If you can imagine it like a 3 minute video that you're watching, like you watch on a website or on a YouTube channel or something like that, about your character, what would they say? Of course, it'd be the nice, well cut documentary version because that's what we're doing. But it can give you a little bit of a idea of what your character's background is. Okay, so let's do sprint and come back in 15 minutes. Let me know how it goes. And if you have any questions about your book, about writing, about this week's video, which I'll drop a link to in a second, just drop them in the chat and I will be there. I'll see you in 15 minutes. was our 15 minutes. It was went pretty fast, I think. It always does. Every time you're like, hey, it's going to be so long. Am I going to get enough words written during that time? The whole time goes by really, really fast. So let me know if any of you guys tried figuring out your character's origin story. That's something that I've been working on in this book that I'm working on. It's a suspense. And so I really want to make sure I know where these characters are coming from and I put enough characters in there to keep the reader guessing a little bit. I am reading, I don't know what you guys are reading right now. Feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm right now reading Catherine Ramsland, a true story about a serial killer and the apprentice that he had, like the kid that helped him. It was a 15-year-old kid. And it's really pretty graphic and pretty disturbing because the serial killer guy was a pretty disturbed person. So I read a little bit of that, and then I read Serafina Glass, I think her name is. I forget what the name of the book is, but I read like a funner sort of suspense book afterwards because I can't read that serial killer's one and then try to go to sleep. Oh, nice, Silverolly, 112 words. And lately, what have I read? I've got this stack here that I've been talking about. I read on the videos, I did read The Coworker and The New Couple in 5B, which is at the bottom of my pile here, and a couple of others I think that are in the room. And I'm thinking about doing a giveaway because I got a box of copies of my books, of this one here. And I was thinking maybe I could do a giveaway of copies of the books, but probably only in the US, maybe Canada, because it's so ridiculously expensive to ship things overseas. As much as I would love to do that, it is crazy. I once shipped something to French Polynesia, and it was like $35. It was a single book, and then the person had moved with no return forwarding address, so it came back to me, and I got to pay the $35 for it to come back. So, yeah, that was not a good choice. I should have just told them to leave it there. Um, and let me know too if you have any questions on the video that I dropped this week, the 6 keys to write a must-buy book. Those are things that I realized, like a lot of these things are things that I try to do subconsciously while I write, but these were things that I learned when I was at Sleuth Fest, and I was really excited by some of the stuff that I learned. Of course, I spent an obscene amount of money on books while I was there too. And they did just put in like 3 miles of bookshelves of a used bookstore 2 towns away from me. I'm trying to resist going there until I've read some of the books that are on my pile. 351 words for Val. Knew my character's backstory, but had never put back down in one place before. Yes, it's really helpful to kind of have it there. And a lot of times I like to just let the characters talk. I have my notebook here, but keep a notebook usually by the couch and by my bed. And so when I think of something that has to do with my character, I just let it roll and see what comes out as I write. Hello, Beautiful by Ann Napolitano. Still in the not sure if it works stage. Yeah. I have not heard, I think I've seen that cover, but I have not heard of that book. I've been reading so much suspense, and I did put the new Riley Sager, the new Ruth Ware, and the new Stephen King on my birthday wish list. So my poor husband, who's looking at these stacks and stacks of books, is probably like, I'm not buying her any more books for her birthday. Half a Mo, don't think I could start without knowing a lot about the characters, but it flows better when I don't and just sprinkle breadcrumbs. Yes, think I go back and forth. Like when I first start, I don't need to know a lot about them. But as I get deeper into the book, I have to because I need to know why they're acting the way that they are. But I do like to just kind of go with the flow for the first couple chapters. So, all right, let's do another. Sorry, it's really hot here. Another 15 minutes. And we will come back and let me know if you have any questions or want to talk about anything writing. another 15 minutes, done. Um, Natalie, I read a psychiatric book because my main character went to the asylum and fights her diagnostics, claiming it's false. I like that. I don't know if you've read Institute by Stephen King. I love Stephen King's books in general, and they're coming out with a TV series on it. I think it's going to be on Paramount Plus. I could have the wrong streaming service, but it's going to be a weekly series starting in July, and I can't wait because that's a bunch of kids that get sent to sort of asylum slash school slash kind of thing like the X-Men. It's really a good book. A good or bad thing, Halfamo asked. I often find my main characters share a similar wound, not the main one, but no idea why it keeps happening. Right now, both have mothers who abandoned them, though for totally different reasons. This question has actually come up several times on the channel. And I think it's because we tend to gravitate towards either what we know or what's sort of easy, right? Like I just saw the same thing in the book that I'm working on. I'm like, everybody's got a dead mother and father in my book because it's so much easier to have the parents be dead than to deal with them, right? It's like in Bambi and stuff like that. I can't make the whole both characters have dead parents. I mean, because it just seems too coincidental, right? And you don't necessarily want them to have the same kind of family history. So I made his parents alive, but put them in like Seattle, I think. So they're a ways away. And that way they don't have quite the same wounds. They both have issues with trust, but for completely different reasons. And it's not from the same event. Now, this is a suspense, so there's two murders. There's multiple murders that have happened, but there's the murder of the main character's sister and the hero's cousin. And so those two murders, they kind of decide to work together to figure out what happened because they were both affected. But the reasons why they feel guilt over that is totally different. So it can work as long as you're just not making their histories exactly the same. Like you don't want them to both be orphans who, didn't get into the college of their choice and started off working at the ground floor of the company that they worked at. The thing with deep emotional wounds is that there's only so many, and a lot of us really share the same ones, like a fear of abandonment or a fear of being not being loved, those kinds of things. There's just only so many. I think there's like 5 or 7 main deep fears, and it could be a bonding issue for them, yes. But the thing with having similar wounds is that sometimes it'll drive them apart. I read a bunch of books on attachment theory several years ago. And if you have two people that both have a fear of abandonment, usually one's really anxiously attached, always saying, "Do you love me? Do you love me?" And then the other person's just like backing off, like, "I'm not going to tell you how I feel." And so a lot of times that sets up a dynamic that is impossible to solve in real life. Now, do they make it happen in romance novels all the time? But you read the book and you're like, there is no way these people are going to work out in real life. Like, there's just no way that would happen. I've seen plenty of movies and read plenty of books where it's just not even remotely plausible to me that those two people could solve their issues. And then there's also the ones where I think the issue doesn't go deep enough. I just read a romance that was very, very well done, but I just did not think that the reason that they were apart was strong enough. I still wanted to see them get together because the writing was so good, but the main conflict between the two characters was conversational conflict. Like literally all they needed to do was sit down and talk and everything would be solved. So that's the kind of thing that I don't like. So, um, Walter, I get that after my father passed, all my characters had issues with their fathers. Yeah, I find myself doing that a lot. Everybody's got an issue with their mother in my book. My mother passed away like 20 years ago, and she was an alcoholic. And so, I'm sure there's plenty of unresolved trauma there that I get to put on the page all the time. So makes for interesting things, but I do try to look to make sure that not everybody has dead parents, not everybody has a dead kid, not everybody has that same thing, but they can both have some similar issues because there's only so many that we have. Let's do one more super quick 10-minute sprint this time. To Rock, great 270 words, great job. And Half a Mo and Val, both over 200 words. You guys are doing great. I'm kind of like cleaning up what I put in before and sort of getting myself back into the book because I haven't looked at it since Monday. So, okay, let's do 10 more minutes. I'll see you guys in a little bit. go, 10 more minutes. And I got a little bit more of a new scene written, which is pretty exciting. Realized that I forgot to hit save. I'm so bad at that. I'm so bad at remembering to hit save. So I missed like a section that thankfully I had handwritten. So all I got to do is type it back in. And I was searching on computer for the temporary file. I'm terrible about that. We've got to hit save more often. I have the auto save turned on Word, but sometimes my computer just decides, I'm just going to not really do that. I do have a backup system that happens every day, so I'm going to check my backup as well because I'm notorious for losing files of books. There's too many tabs open at one time, I think, and I'm just more right-brained than I am left-brained, so I don't necessarily think about standards and processes and things like that. So 78 words is good, Silver Ollie, and 54 is great rock. It's 54 more words than you had an hour ago. So all of you guys did really great. Everybody did some great writing. I got some writing done. I'm so happy. And it's Friday, so we all have the weekend. I will now next week. I don't know if you guys saw this on the channel, but I will be teaching a class at this spot, this 4 o'clock slot. It just happened that I was picked for the AuthorTube writing conference, and it just happened that they scheduled my show not tell class at 4 o'clock on Friday. So I will be teaching that instead of doing writing sprints next Friday, but I will be here at 4 o'clock on Friday. And Dragon Moon, great, great job on the 360 words. And your cat, yeah, my dog. It's just about supper time, so Daisy's all kind of like meandering around me, like, "Are you done yet?" Um, and great job, Val and Half You guys did great. So next week, it would be great if you guys came. The AuthorTube Writing Conference is free. It's just like a hop from different channels to different channels. And if you click the link in the description for the live stream for next week, you can go to the website and look up all the other workshops that will be given. I don't think I've really had time to dive into it yet, but be sure to hit notify me on the live stream for next week so you can be here if you have questions on show not tell and you really want more descriptions up. I know that it's been a question on the channel a few times about like how to describe, and I'm definitely that on my list of videos that I've got to do down the road. But I think the show not tell one will delve into a lot of it. So thank you guys for joining me this week. Hope to see you next week. I hope everybody has a great weekend and gets plenty of writing done. If you have any questions after that you forgot to ask, you can always drop them in the comments on any part of the channel and I will see it. And don't forget to check out the 6 keys to